Watching our very, very special pre-election broadcasts here on Channel 404 and SABC2. It's wonderful having you with us. As you know, South Africans go to the polls tomorrow, and we, of course, getting you ready and giving you all of the information that you need to know. In a very, very short while, we're going to be joined by Hlaudi Motsoeneng, who, of course, is the acting CEO of the SABC, just to talk to us about the readiness of the SABC and also to update you on exactly how the broadcasts are going to be working and what we're going to be covering. So please do stay tuned for all the information ahead of the elections. But right now, let's take a little bit of a different spin on elections. So we all know Pieter Dirk Uys. We all know that he has... Can I say a big mouth, Peter? I suppose I can at this point in time, particularly through Evita Besadenhout, but not only through Evita Besadenhout, because Peter himself has also got so much to say. He has performed sellout plays. He has been performing, especially when it comes to political issues, for many, many, many years, and one can say that he's almost seen it all. But recently, he's been quoted as saying that when you cast your vote on Wednesday, cast your vote very selfishly. Well, I got Pieter Dirk Uys in the Sea Point studios chatting to us this morning. Peter, welcome to the program. It's so lovely to have us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so you're telling us to vote very selfishly tomorrow. Why? What do you mean by this?
You know, I think we've sold registration and voting in a very broad context. People have been told, vote for Madiba, vote for your community, vote for your country. I would say it's the most selfish thing that you as a voter is allowed. You're allowed to vote for yourself. What do you want? I mean, I say this to the young people, the born frees who are going to vote for the first time, and they say to me, I'm not interested, what's the point? And I say, there is no point. If you're not interested, don't bother to think that there's a future for you. But you can go into the voting booth and you can decide what you want for your education, for your future, the security of your life, your family eventually, but it's about you. And that's what is important. We don't have to follow the leader here. We can follow our instinct and do our homework, because I think we as citizens take democracy for granted. You know, freedom flies around like birds. Well, it doesn't, you see. Yeah. Freedom is very fragile. And politicians eat freedom and replace it with Teflon. So we need to do our homework. And I think tomorrow is the big supermarket of politics. Yeah. We take our little trolleys and we go and look at all the brands, lots of wonderful brands there. But let's do our homework to find the right brand for what we want.
Yeah, all right. You know, you have been around for many elections, and I'm not giving your age away. I'm just giving the fact that you are such a consummate professional, and you've managed to go from president to president, prime minister to prime minister, to youth league leader to youth league leader. You have done it all and seen it all. How do you think the electioneering has gone for these particular elections, 20 years into democracy?
Well, first of all, I think it's a pity that 20 years of democracy and the election have happened at the same time, because the one has eaten up the other. Instead of us celebrating 20 years of democracy, political parties have just hijacked that fact for their own benefit. But frankly, I think this is the most interesting election we've had, because for the first time in 20 years, we've got a center, meaning our ruling party, and we have a loud voice on the left and a wonderful dancing lady on the right. And it's wonderful that a democracy is forced into a corner of explanation. We need to ask questions and demand answers. And you know, I love the way that politicians really, for the first time in 5 years, do service delivery for an election, because otherwise they lose their jobs and their cars. So it's good to see them working. I don't think they're all working hard enough. I think, frankly, that Helen Zille must get an award for truly being everywhere at the same time. Maybe she's cloned herself. There are 17 Helen Zilles. She's a bit like the sort of Belleville North version of Margaret Thatcher sometimes when she dances, but she's doing it and she's appealing to a lot of people. President Zuma is always interesting. I believe yesterday he said that it's only clever people that are complaining about Nkandla. Yeah. I think Nkandla is the greatest gift he's given me, because I'll be able to get onto the stage for the next 2 years with a show called Nkandla Kosweti. So humor is also a very important part of this election. And Julius Malema has not let me down. I mean, to think that 3 months ago he couldn't rub two cabbages together. He's going to do well, and I hope he gets into Parliament. I think all politicians should end up in Parliament. It is the sandbox of democracy. let the stray cats go into the sandbox and do it there, not outside the sandbox. So everybody must just realize that it's not about politics, it's not about politicians or parties, it's about us.
Yeah.
It's about the citizens.
Yeah.
Each of us has the right to vote, and the vote is secret and sacred.
Yeah, and it is, I mean, it is material, like you say, for you for years and years to come. What about your party? I mean, you launched your own party. It was called the South Africa's Democratic National Alternative. Whatever happened to it?
It wasn't a party, you know, it was an idea. It was a sort of a suggestion of an umbrella for the opposition parties. One has always been aware of a very strong central government presence of the ANC, and lots of small parties, like a lot of small chihuahuas running around trying to bite the big horse. And my idea was just to suggest that in the theatre, when you do a musical, I'd use it, for example, Mamma Mia. You have all those songs from ABBA, but it's called Mamma Mia. So everybody knows that they will have 17 good songs under one title. And my suggestion was, let all the parties get together and decide what they each can contribute to the voters and call themselves South Africa's Democratic National Alternative, meaning SA's DNA. I mean, that's one hell of a catchphrase. And so at least we, the voters, know that if we can vote for that umbrella, we've got a whole collection of alternatives for government. I don't want opposition to democracy. I want an alternative to the policy of a democratically elected government. And there are so many things that the political parties on the other side could have suggested, and they haven't, you know. Too many things about education that have not been answered, too many things about security, too many things about pensions, too many things about 1,000 things. I mean, we bite each other all the time. Maybe we should blow into each other's ears and see what happens if we start smiling and suggesting that we all think about the same solutions for problems that need to be solved.
Yeah. Pieter Dirk Uys, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for taking the time out to give us your views on the elections, and more importantly, enjoy putting your X down on your ballot paper tomorrow.
I will certainly enjoy it. I've always said I want an erection for that election.
Well, that's one way to end off an interview. Thank you very, very much for almost making me blush. But, you know, when it comes from Pieter, it's okay. You know it's all okay.